Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to talk a little bit about the AMX-40, the Tier 4 super heavy French tank that is available in the Battle Pass. First thing first, was this tank available before the Battle Pass? For the OGs, you already know what I'm talking about, because this tank was actually available in the tech tree, the French tech tree, before the 5.5 update. But after Wargaming decided that the tank was maybe too strong in terms of armor, so they decided to get rid of it. Unfortunately, because that tank was a meme tank. Everybody calls it the Duck, simply because if you take a look at the silhouette, especially with this camo that makes it look a little bit yellow, it do look like a duck. I mean, you have the same proportions when it comes to nose, now everything really looks like a duck, and I think that's a well-known thing among the community, but we're not really here to discuss about that. We need to focus a little bit about the tank. As it's a tier 4, it's gonna be brief, especially concerning the review in the garage. So to make it quick, you have on the gun a really bad accuracy but a great alpha damage, so make sure to always focus entirely before shooting. You have an amazing armor overall that comes with that great fully traversable turret, but also the incredible armor profile that we're going to see after. And finally, a tier 3 engine, which means you are extremely slow. You're like the mouse of tier 4. Now, for the equipments, how am I equipping it? Real quick, I go for the gun rammer first, because you have enough penetration. After, I go for the enhanced gun lane drive to reduce my aim time. Finally, the refined gun to reduce a little bit my gun dispersion, and because with this tank you nearly never shoot while driving. After, I go for the defense system because I'm not going to ram anybody. Improved assembly, but you could go also for the enhanced armor, but I don't think it's important at tier 4. That's why I go for the improved assembly. Finally, I go for the toolbox. After, I go for the improved optics because I'm not going to camp. Engine accelerator to overall increase my top speed because it sucks. And finally, the consumable delivery system because you have 10 seconds of reload. So your increasing the duration of consumable, especially concerning adrenaline, is worthless. You would rather use it more often. That's pretty much how I'm equipping the tank. Now let's take a look at the armor profile so you understand how troll that tank is. As you can see, the tank is quite round, and your armor is quite amazing if we take a look at its tier, because I want to remind you it's a tier 4. Overall, you have 2 weak spots, here and here, but most of the time getting this is going to be quite hard for your opponent. So if you angle it a little bit like that, it becomes nearly impossible to penetrate for most tanks. Now overall, it's a really big bunker on tracks at tier 4, which makes it quite a funny tank to play with. Just make sure not to get circled, because if people manage to get there, it's your weak spot and they will penetrate quite easily. But as soon as you're in front of them, knowing that you're going to face tier 3 players that pretty much don't know what they're doing and will never use gold, you are nearly impenetrable. Let's see how the tank reacts directly in battle. So, concerning the replay, as you can see, we are playing top tier, and that's where this tank is excellent, because when you are top tier, literally nobody can penetrate you, and here there are only 2 tier 4 in front of us, and you're gonna see how many bounces we're gonna get. That's insane, and that's what makes this tank an amazing tank to play if you just want to silk club or even just have fun. I'm gonna move a little bit my camera over there so it's easier for you, and I'm gonna also remove the overlay if I can. Yes, it's working. So as I told you, you are impenetrable. That's why with this one, you just have to rush in. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm facing tier 3. They literally have 50, maybe 40 millimeters of penetration. I have 170 millimeters of effective armor at the right angle. So if I manage to angle my tank correctly, I'm just gonna bounce. And that's exactly what happened with that AMX-40. I wiggled a little bit to make sure to bounce. He went for an HE, and luckily for me, he did not penetrate it. Now, of course, you need to be careful about tank destroyers. Those are the main threat, and I tell you that as I took a shot from the ETSA. That's why I decided to drop in and directly go on those for tier 3. And another thing that I forgot to tell you about the MX-40 is that you have a dub gun. which makes it an amazing tank to shoot HE with, especially at low tier targets on their sides. Don't worry, we will shoot some of them later on during the replay, but for the moment we are focusing on AP. Unfortunately for us, it seems like there is the AMX-40, actually the only tank with the ETSA in this game that can penetrate me, that decided to push straight forward. We are gonna have to deal with him, and as you can see, you see the strong armor profile of the AMX-40. I just had that little plate I could penetrate, but that's not much. Of course, I tried to angle around the AMX-40, but this tank has a really good penetration, and as he just circled using a speed boost, he managed to sneak a shot. I should be able to kill him, but luckily for me, my team did it. Now I only have to deal with the rest of their team, and as I have a huge alpha damage, it doesn't take long for me to literally destroy them all. So now we're gonna focus a little bit on the BT7, and as you can see, we switch to HE 180 damage. At tier 4, that's incredible because it's literally 1/3 of the XP of a tier 3. And here we go again, 170 alpha damage on that poor Shiha, which is a tier 3. And as I told you, you are gonna face tanks, or at least players, that don't have a clue what they're doing. And you see it like that with the Shiha. The Shiha maybe was a new player, and unluckily for him, I don't know if we can say it, he got wrecked. Because that's what makes the charm of the AMX-40. If you play the AMX-40 against experienced player, they know they just have to circle you, you don't have the mobility to catch up. But as you're playing against new players, they don't have a clue what they're doing, they are going to stay straight in front of you. And that's going to be easy for you to just destroy them. And that's why I think it's really cool that Wargaming re-implemented the tank, because nowadays people will have the chance of playing once again that AMX-40 to its maximum potential, because the more forgotten the tank becomes, the easiest it becomes for you to play it against anybody, because nobody except 170 millimeters of raw armor at tier 4. That review is now over. If I had a word for the end of the video to tell you, it would be don't sell the AMX-40. Just for the fact that it's a really fun tank to play at tier 4, but also because it's a meme tank. That's the duck, and you don't sell the duck. If you enjoyed that video, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. Give me your feedbacks about the tank as well in the comments, and I'm gonna see you soon for a new video, guys. Au revoir.